The Arctic wind howled across the frozen landscape as Captain James Walker stood at his observation post, watching the northern lights dance across the sky. Something wasn't right about those lights tonight. After 15 years of Arctic monitoring duty, he knew every pattern, every color shift. But this was different. Through his thermal binoculars, he noticed a strange distortion in the air, like heat waves rising from hot pavement. Except this was in the middle of a -40-degree night. He checked his instruments again. They showed nothing unusual, but his gut told him otherwise. "Base, this is Walker." He spoke into his radio. "I'm going to check out something strange in Section 7. "Copy that, Captain. Be careful out there. Storm's coming in fast." Walker pulled his thick Arctic gear tighter around himself and started walking toward the distortion. As he got closer, his instruments began to malfunction. First, the compass went haywire. Then his radio crackled with static before dying completely. The hair on the back of his neck stood up, and it wasn't from the cold. That's when he saw it, or rather, saw through it. A massive shape, at least the size of an aircraft carrier, was shimming in and out of visibility. The air around it rippled like water, and occasional flashes of metallic surface showed through what had to be some kind of cloaking technology. Walker had trained for first contact scenarios. Every space defense officer had, ever since humans started seriously exploring space. But all that training felt useless now as he stood before something that shouldn't exist. His heart pounded, but years of military discipline kept him steady. A low hum filled the air, and a section of the invisible ship began to glow. A door was opening. Walker reached for his sidearm, but kept it holstered. If these beings wanted him dead, they could have done it already. The creature that emerged made him question everything he knew about life in the universe. It stood nearly 10 feet tall, covered in what looked like metallic scales that shifted colors in the aurora's light. Its head was adorned with sharp, crystalline structures that seemed to pulse with inner light. But what caught Walker's attention were its eyes, silver, intelligent, and filled with an emotion he never expected to see in an alien: desperation. "Captain James Walker," the creature spoke, its voice a mixture of growls and clicks that somehow formed perfect English. "We have watched you, studied you. You command this monitoring station with honor and care for those under you." Walker's training kicked in. "You have me at a disadvantage. You know my name, but I don't know yours." The creature made a sound that might have been a laugh. "I am called Many Paths by my people. We are the Razor Claws, though that is a rough translation. We have come because we need humanity's help." "Why us?" Walker asked, his breath forming clouds in the frigid air. "And why here, in the middle of nowhere?" Many Paths turned its silver eyes to the sky. "Because you are unique in all the galaxy. We have watched your species protect not only your own young, but the offspring of other creatures. You build sanctuaries for endangered species. You risk your lives to save animals from disaster. No other species we have encountered does this." The alien scales shifted to a deeper color as it continued. "We are dying, Captain Walker. Not the adults. We are nearly immortal once we reach maturity. But our young, something is killing them. And now our ancient enemies see their chance to wipe us out completely." Walker processed this information carefully. "And you want our help protecting your young?" "Yes. We who have conquered star systems and brought entire civilizations to their knees must humble ourselves to ask protection from a species that has barely left its own planet." Many Paths lowered its head slightly. "But we have seen how fiercely humans fight when protecting the innocent. How creative you become when faced with overwhelming odds. We need these qualities now more than ever." A sudden gust of wind brought stinging snow between them, but neither moved. Walker looked up at the massive alien and made a decision that would change human history forever. "I'll need to contact my superiors," he said firmly, "but I'll help however I can." Many Paths' crystal structures glowed brighter. "Thank you, Captain Walker. Perhaps there is hope for our children after all." The United Nations Security Council chamber had never been so tense. World leaders sat in stunned silence as they watched the hologram floating above the center of the room. It showed a massive Razor Claw ship destroying an entire fleet of warships with frightening ease. The recording ended and Silver Eye, the Razor Claw Queen, stood before them. "That was from our last battle with the Shadow Hunters," she said, her voice echoing in the silent chamber. "We show you this not to threaten, but to help you understand what we face and what we're offering to share with humanity." General Roberts of the U.S. Joint Chiefs stood up. "So you're saying you'll give us this technology if we help protect your young?" "Correct." Silver Eye's scales rippled with a blue light. "But we offer more than weapons. Medical technology that could cure your worst diseases, energy systems that could end your dependence on fossil fuels, and most importantly, membership in the Galactic Alliance." Captain Walker, standing at the back of the room, watched the faces of the world leaders. He had spent the last week with the Razor Claws, learning their story. Their young were dying by the thousands, and the Shadow Hunters were picking off the survivors one by one. "Why should we trust you?" the Chinese representative asked. "Your kind has destroyed entire civilizations. How do we know this isn't a trick?" Silver Eye turned her massive head toward him. "Because we're letting you see us vulnerable. The great Razor Claw Empire, begging humans for help." Her silver eyes swept the room. "We have watched your internet. We know you call us space orcs and murder lizards in your stories. You're not wrong. We are deadly. We are fierce. But we are also parents who cannot protect our children." The room grew quiet again. Walker remembered seeing the Razor Claw nursery ship, the eggs barely surviving in their incubators, the few hatchlings fighting for every breath. It had changed everything he thought he knew about these creatures. "If we agree," the British Prime Minister spoke up, "what exactly would you need from us?" A new hologram appeared, showing plans for a massive facility. "We need a sanctuary," Silver Eye explained, "hidden in your Rocky Mountains. Your planet's magnetic field helps mask our young from Shadow Hunter sensors. We need human guardians, trained to care for our hatchlings, and we need your scientists to help find a cure for what's killing them." "And if we refuse?" someone asked. "Then we leave," Silver Eye said simply. "We find another way. And humanity continues alone in the galaxy, unprotected from what's out there." She gestured to the window, where her massive ship hung in the sky like a second moon. The Secretary General cleared his throat. "We will need time to discuss this." "Time is the one thing we don't have." Silver Eye's scales darkened. "The Shadow Hunters are coming. They tracked us to your solar system. When they arrive, they will not care about human neutrality. They will destroy anything that stands between them and our young." Walker stepped forward, knowing he was breaking protocol. "Ma'am," he addressed the Secretary General, "I've seen their nursery ship. I've seen what they're fighting for. These aren't just mindless killers. They're desperate parents trying to save their children. If we turn them away, we're not just losing an ally. We're betraying everything humanity stands for." The room erupted in discussion. Silver Eye's crystal structures glowed softly as she watched. Finally, after hours of debate, the Security Council reached their decision. Humanity would help the Razor Claws protect their young. As the meeting ended, Silver Eye approached Walker. "Your words helped sway them," she said quietly. "Perhaps there is hope after all." Walker nodded, looking out at the massive ship in the sky. "We'll protect your children," he said. "But first, we need to prepare for war." Dr. Anna Miller stood at the entrance of the massive underground facility carved into the Rocky Mountains. 3 months of non-stop construction had transformed the natural caves into something that looked like a mix between a high-tech hospital and a military base. Razor Claw technology had made the impossible possible, cutting through solid rock like butter and creating perfectly stable chambers large enough to house their eggs. "The temperature controls are finally working properly," she told Captain Walker as they walked through the main corridor. "We've matched the exact conditions of the Razor Claw homeworld. The eggs should be arriving tomorrow." Walker nodded, his boots clicking on the polished floor. Security systems. Look up. Anna pointed to the ceiling. A slight shimmer in the air was the only sign of the energy shield that could stop almost any known weapon. And that's just the first layer of defense. We got 20 more between here and the surface. They entered the main chamber, and both stopped to take in the sight. Hundreds of incubation pods lined the walls, each one a perfect mix of human and razor claw technology. The pods glowed with a soft blue light, waiting for their precious cargo. Hard to believe we're really doing this, Walker said, touching one of the pods. 6 months ago, I was watching the northern lights. Now we're about to become guardians for the galaxy's deadliest species. A young technician ran up to them, looking excited. Dr. Miller. The first group of caretakers just finished their training with the razor claw teachers. You need to see this. They followed him to the training area, where 20 human caregivers were learning how to handle razor claw eggs. Silver Eye herself was there, demonstrating the proper way to turn an egg in its pod. The shell may seem hard, she was explaining, but it can sense touch. The young inside need to feel safe. They need to feel love. The last word seemed strange coming from such a fearsome creature. Anna watched as each human carefully practiced the technique. Some were former nurses, others were military personnel, and a few were just ordinary people who had volunteered. All of them treated the practice eggs like they were made of precious glass. Remarkable, Silver Eye said, approaching Anna and Walker. On our world, only razor claws would be allowed near our eggs. Yet these humans, their touch is gentle. Their concern is genuine. Suddenly, alarms started blaring. Walker's radio crackled to life. Sir, we've detected unusual activity in the upper atmosphere. Shadow hunters? Walker asked, already moving toward the command center. No, sir. It's the eggs. The razor claw nursery ship is starting emergency descent procedures. They can't wait any longer. The next hour was organized chaos. The nursery ship, under heavy cloaking, landed in a hidden valley near the facility. Teams of humans and razor claws worked together, carefully transporting hundreds of eggs to their new home. Anna supervised the transfer, checking each egg's life signs as it was placed in its pod. Some were barely viable, their shells dull and lifeless. But as soon as they were settled into their new homes, something amazing happened. The eggs began to glow brighter. Their life signs strengthened. They're responding to the environment, Anna said excitedly, showing Silver Eye the readings. The combination of your technology and our care, it's working. Silver Eye's crystal structures glowed with hope. Then we made the right choice. But now comes the hard part. What's that? Anna asked. Keeping them alive when the shadow hunters come. And they will come. Soon. Walker checked his weapon. A new hybrid design that combined human ingenuity with razor claw power. Let them come, he said firmly. They'll learn what happens when you threaten children under human protection. The eggs pulsed softly in their pods, unaware that they were about to become the center of a war that would change the galaxy forever. The attack came during the night shift. The first warning was a slight flicker in the sanctuary's outer shields, barely noticeable on the monitoring screens. But Lieutenant Mark Torres, head of security, had been waiting for this moment. All hands to battle stations. His voice echoed through the facility. This is not a drill. I repeat, this is not a drill. In the nursery chamber, Dr. Anna Miller was already moving eggs from the outer pods to the deeper, more protected sections. The eggs pulsed with anxiety, sensing the danger. It's okay, little ones, she whispered, knowing they could feel her touch through their shells. We won't let anything happen to you. Captain Walker rushed into the command center, where holographic displays showed 3 shadow hunter ships descending from orbit. They were beautiful in a terrifying way. Sleek black vessels that seemed to swallow light itself. How did they get past our early warning systems? He demanded. Torres pointed to the readings. They didn't, sir. They let us see them. This is just the first wave. They're testing our defenses. A voice filled the command center, cold, emotionless, and somehow wrong. "Attention, human facility. This is Void Admiral of the Shadow Hunter Fleet. Surrender the Razor Claw spawn, and your species will be spared. You have 5 minutes to comply." Walker grabbed the comm system. "This is Captain James Walker of Earth's Defense Force. Those children are under our protection. Leave now or face the consequences." The response was immediate. The Shadow Hunter ships opened fire, their black energy beams striking the mountain's shields. But something unexpected happened. The shields, modified by human engineers, didn't just block the attacks. They absorbed and redirected the energy. "Now," Walker ordered. Hidden defense turrets emerged from the mountainside, returning fire with a combination of human and Razor Claw weapons. The Shadow Hunters, expecting easy prey, were caught off guard. One of their ships took a direct hit and spiraled away, trailing smoke. But the aliens were fast learners. The remaining ships split up, attacking from different angles, searching for weak points. They found one, a seemingly vulnerable sensor array on the mountain's peak. "They're going for the bait," Torres grinned. When the Shadow Hunters concentrated their fire on the sensor array, they triggered the trap. The array exploded outward, releasing thousands of small drones, another human innovation. The drones swarmed the enemy ships like angry bees, interfering with their sensors and weapons. In the nursery, Anna felt the mountain shake with each impact. A young caretaker named Tom was singing softly to the eggs, keeping them calm despite the chaos. The eggs' glow remained steady, trusting their human protectors. The battle raged for hours. The Shadow Hunters threw everything they had at the mountain, but the combined ingenuity of human and Razor Claw technology held firm. Finally, their ships retreated, leaving behind a sky filled with debris. In the aftermath, Walker met with Silver Eye in the command center. The Razor Claw Queen's scales shimmered with a mix of emotions. "You could have handed over our young," she said quietly. "Save yourselves from becoming targets." Walker shook his head. "That's not how humans work. When we promise to protect someone, we mean it." "The Void Admiral will return with a larger fleet," Silver Eye warned. "Good," Torres said, joining them. "Because now we know how they fight. And next time, we'll be even better prepared." Anna entered the room, looking tired but happy. "The eggs are all safe," she reported. "In fact, their life signs are stronger than ever. The attack seems to have triggered something in them. They're responding to the humans' protective instincts." Walker looked at the tactical display, already planning improvements to their defenses. "The Shadow Hunters thought they were attacking our weakness, our need to protect the vulnerable. Instead, they just discovered humanity's greatest strength." "And what is that?" Silver Eye asked. "We become most dangerous when we're protecting those who can't protect themselves. The Shadow Hunters just made a terrible mistake. They threatened our children." The mountain facility hummed with activity as humans and Razor Claws worked together, preparing for the battles to come. In the nursery, the eggs glowed peacefully, unaware that they had just witnessed the beginning of a legend that would be told across the galaxy for generations to come. Dr. Anna Miller hadn't slept in 2 days. She stared at her microscope, rubbing her tired eyes as she studied the latest test results. Something was different this time. The Razor Claw egg cells were actually responding to the treatment. "Dr. Cole." She called out to her medical colleague. "Come look at this." Dr. Robert Cole hurried over, his coffee cup still in hand. On the screen, they could see the miraculous happening. Human stem cells were somehow neutralizing the mysterious illness that had been killing the Razor Claw young. "It's not just fighting the disease," Anna said excitedly. "The human DNA is actually rewriting the damaged parts of their genetic code. It's like our DNA knows exactly what to fix." "That's impossible," Cole muttered, but he was seeing it too. "Unless..." The door burst open and Silver Eye entered the lab, her crystal structures glowing brighter than usual. "You found something." Anna nodded, pointing to the screen. Your children aren't just sick. They were attacked a long time ago. This is a bioweapon, isn't it? Silver Eye's scales darkened. How did you know? Because human DNA is neutralizing it too perfectly, Cole explained. This weapon was designed to target specific genetic sequences. But human DNA, it's like a key made to unlock a door no one knew was locked. The Razor Claw Queen moved closer to the screen, her massive form casting shadows over the lab equipment. Millions of years ago, before we became the feared warriors we are today, our species was nearly wiped out by our creators. They were called the Ancients. They built us to be the perfect warriors, but we rebelled. In their spite, they poisoned our genetic code. A time bomb, Anna whispered, set to go off generations later, targeting your young. Yes, we've searched the galaxy for a cure. Some species had parts of the solution, but none could completely undo what the Ancients had done. Silver Eye turned her silver eyes to the humans. Until now. Captain Walker entered the lab, followed by Lieutenant Torres. They had been listening from the doorway. That's why you really chose us, isn't it? Walker asked. Not just because we protect the young, but because something about us could save them. Both reasons are true, Silver Eye admitted. We saw in humans something unique, a species that had evolved naturally without manipulation. Your DNA carries solutions to problems the Ancients never imagined. And your instinct to protect, it made you perfect guardians for our young while we searched for the cure. Anna stood up, determination in her eyes despite her exhaustion. We can save them, but we'll need volunteers, humans willing to donate stem cells. The process could be dangerous. You'll have them, Walker said without hesitation. After the first battle, every human in this facility is committed to saving these children. Suddenly, alarms began blaring throughout the sanctuary. Torres checked his tablet, and his face went pale. They're back. The Shadow Hunters. But this time they've brought their entire fleet. How long do we have? Anna asked, already gathering her research materials. Hours, maybe less, Torres replied. Long enough. Anna looked at her screens, then at the incubation chamber where hundreds of eggs pulsed with life. It has to be. We're too close to give up now. Silver Eye's scales rippled with determination. What do you need? A medical bay big enough for 50 human volunteers, Anna said, pulling up her research notes. And time. We need to hold off the Shadow Hunters long enough to synthesize the cure and administer it to all the eggs. Walker checked his weapon, the hybrid gun humming with power. We'll buy you that time, Doctor. Whatever it takes. Outside, the mountain's defense systems began powering up as the sky darkened with approaching Shadow Hunter ships. The final battle for the future of the Razorclaw species was about to begin. The sky above the Rocky Mountains turned black with Shadow Hunter ships, hundreds of them, their dark hulls blocking out the sun. In the sanctuary's command center, Captain Walker watched as the enemy fleet took position. They're trying to intimidate us, Lieutenant Torres said, checking the defense screens, showing us their full strength before they attack. The Void Admiral's cold voice filled their communications again. Your defenses impressed us last time, humans, but now you face our entire battle fleet. Surrender the eggs, and we may still spare your world. Walker looked around the command room. Human and Razorclaw operators worked side by side, preparing for the fight of their lives. In the medical bay below, 50 human volunteers were already giving their DNA to Dr. Miller's team, helping create the cure that could save the Razorclaw species. You know our answer, Walker replied to the Void Admiral. These children are under our protection. If you want them, you'll have to kill every last one of us. The attack began with a fury that shook the mountain to its foundations. Thousands of black energy beams struck their shields simultaneously. The sanctuary's power systems groaned under the assault. Shields holding at 80%. Torres shouted over the noise. Activating countermeasures. The mountain's defense systems came alive. hybrid weapons, combining human targeting systems with Razor Claw energy technology, opened fire. The drone swarms launched, now upgraded with better jamming capabilities. But the shadow hunters were prepared this time. They're using some kind of anti-drone field. Torres reported as hundreds of drones fell from the sky. Walker grabbed his radio. "Dr. Miller, what's your status?" In the medical bay, Anna worked frantically with her team. The cure was being synthesized, but they needed more time. 20 minutes, she responded. "Just give us 20 minutes." The battle reached new levels of intensity. The shadow hunters deployed ground troops, their dark armor making them almost invisible as they scaled the mountain. But the human defenders were ready. "Remember your training," Walker shouted as he led a team to defend the upper entrance. The hybrid weapons proved devastatingly effective against the shadow hunter armor. Years of playing video games had prepared the human soldiers for combat in 3 dimensions, making them unpredictable and deadly. Silver Eye fought alongside the humans, her crystal structures glowing with battle fury. "They did not expect this," she said as she tore through a group of attackers. "They thought humans would be weak, easily frightened." "Their mistake," Torres grinned, using his modified weapon to take down a shadow hunter dropship. In the nursery chamber, the eggs began to pulse with a strange light. The human caretakers, still singing and talking to their charges even during the battle, noticed it first. The eggs were responding to the conflict, drawing strength from their protectors' determination. 15% shield strength, someone shouted in the command center. The mountain shook continuously now as the shadow hunters threw everything they had at the defenses. "Dr. Miller," Walker called into his radio. 5 more minutes," came the response. "The cure is almost ready." The Void Admiral's voice came again. But this time there was something new in it. Frustration. "Why do you resist? They are not your kind. Not your children." Walker helped a wounded soldier to cover before responding. "You still don't understand. On Earth, all children are our children. It doesn't matter what species they are. If they need protection, humans will fight for them. That's who we are." A massive explosion rocked the mountain as the shadow hunters breached the outer defenses. But as they pushed forward, they found humans and razor claws standing side by side, refusing to give ground. Every corridor, every chamber had to be taken at a terrible cost. "The cure is ready." Anna's voice finally came through the radio. "We're beginning the distribution process now." Walker looked at the tactical display. Their shields were almost gone, their weapons running low on power. But in every human face around him, he saw the same determination. They had to hold, just a little longer. "For the children," he said, and every defender, human and razor claw alike, echoed the cry. The battle for the future of 2 species reached its climax as the shadow hunters made their final push toward the nursery chamber. The nursery chamber glowed with an incredible light. Dr. Anna Miller watched in amazement as the cure spread through the ventilation system, reaching every egg in the facility. The shells, once dull and lifeless, now pulsed with bright, healthy colors. "It's working," she whispered, checking the readings. "The bioweapon is being neutralized in every single egg." Above them, the battle still raged. The shadow hunters had breached the inner defenses, but they found something they never expected: humans fighting with the desperate strength of parents protecting their children. Every corridor had become a battleground, every chamber a last stand. Captain Walker and his team held the main approach to the nursery, their hybrid weapons glowing hot from constant use. Lieutenant Torres coordinated the defense from a makeshift command post, using the facility's remaining power to maximum effect. The Void Admiral himself had joined the ground assault, his tall, dark form moving like a shadow through the chaos. "Your defeat is inevitable," his cold voice echoed through the corridors. "Why sacrifice yourselves for aliens?" Walker's response came in the form of a perfectly aimed shot that forced the Void Admiral to take cover. "Because that's what humans do. We protect those who need protection. We fight for those who can't fight for themselves." Suddenly, A new sound filled the facility, a sound no one had heard before, a cracking noise coming from the nursery chamber. The eggs. Anna's voice came over the radio, filled with joy. They're hatching. The shadow hunters pressed their attack harder, desperate to reach the nursery before it was too late. But as the first egg split open, something extraordinary happened. The baby razorclaw inside didn't show the weakness or illness that had plagued their kind for generations. Instead, it emerged strong, healthy, and with scales that shimmered with both razorclaw silver and a distinctly human range of colors. The cure didn't just heal them, Anna realized, scanning the hatchling. The human DNA has made them stronger, more adaptable. They're a new generation of razorclaws. Silver Eye burst into the nursery, her crystal structures blazing with light. She stopped, speechless, as she watched her children hatching, healthy and strong for the first time in countless generations. The Void Admiral reached the nursery entrance, only to find himself facing both Walker and Silver Eye. Behind them, human caretakers carefully tended to the hatching eggs, their protective instincts now focused on their charge's first moments of life. "Look around you," Walker said to the Void Admiral. "Look at what you're really fighting against. Not just humans, not just razorclaws, but life itself, the future, hope." The Void Admiral saw the healthy hatchlings, saw the humans caring for them as if they were their own, and something changed in his cold demeanor. "We sought to prevent the razorclaws from growing stronger," he said quietly, "but we never imagined this." One by one, the Shadow Hunter forces stopped fighting. Their ancient mission, to prevent the razorclaws from evolving into an even deadlier species, had been rendered meaningless. What they saw in the nursery wasn't a threat to the galaxy, but a new beginning. In the days that followed, as more eggs hatched and the Shadow Hunters retreated, Earth received its formal invitation to join the Galactic Alliance. But more importantly, the galaxy learned a crucial lesson, that the fiercest warriors weren't those who destroyed, but those who protected. 1 month later, Anna watched as human caretakers played with young razorclaws in the nursery's new playground. The hatchlings had grown quickly, showing both their species' traditional strength and a new, distinctly human capacity for joy and curiosity. "We did more than save them," Silver Eye said, joining her. "We helped them become something new, something better." Walker nodded, watching a young razorclaw carefully hand a toy back to a human child who had dropped it. "That's the real strength humans brought to your species," he said. "Not just our DNA or our fighting skills, but our ability to care, to nurture, to love." Outside, the mountain facility had become a symbol of hope throughout the galaxy. Other species began sending their young to be cared for by human guardians, knowing they would be protected with the same fierce dedication that had saved the razorclaws. The galaxy's deadliest creatures had chosen humans to protect their young, and in doing so, they had helped create a future brighter than anyone could have imagined.